You know, slow down in school zones. We also know a lot of drivers don't. To show you what that looks like when you speed, we went to the National Highway Transportation Safety Advisory. Two things factor into the equation. The typical reaction time to actually recognize a child is running into the road is about 3/4 of a second. Add another 3/4 of a second to slam on the brakes. That's 1.5 seconds so far. Then you can add up the distance it takes for your car to actually stop. Say you're going the speed limit in a school zone, 20 miles per hour in ideal conditions. With dry roads, your car will stop in 63 feet. That's 44 feet for your reaction time, assuming you were even alert. 19 feet for braking distance now. If you're speeding, going 30 in a 20, you almost double it. Your car will stop in 119 feet. That's almost half of a football field. Going 20 over the speed limit in a school zone, your car will stop in 164 feet. The mechanics of your car, the conditions of your tires, and the road conditions, they all play a role too, proving even more seconds and speed limits count. And joining me now with more school zone safety advice is Melissa Mady with Louisiana State Police Troop B. And I guess the most important thing is, even if you're running late, it's not worth putting these kids' lives in jeopardy.
Absolutely not. And just what we saw, the distance with stopping is huge. And it actually takes your brain about 1.5 seconds to react, to see what's happening, to perceive that threat, then to place your foot on the brake, and then you have the stopping distance of the car. So it is a great distance. And I think what a lot of people don't realize too is, in today's day and age, with all the different distractions in the vehicle, that can be huge also, especially if they're even just talking on the cell phone.
Yeah, that's what I was really surprised. We know you shouldn't text or use social media while you're driving, but I didn't even know you couldn't be on a phone call at all in safety zones.
Correct. You cannot engage in a phone call while you're in that school zone, and it's important because you need to be focused on what's going on in front of you and what's going on actually around the car too. And we ask that parents don't allow their kids to go in and outside and around parked vehicles that are in that area, because if they jump out right in front of the street, obviously it could be deadly for that child.
That's another thing. When you're double parked, I didn't realize kids darting in and out. I mean, they know to stop and look both ways, but they're kids. And you got to take into account that maybe they're going to forget to, get excited, run after a ball or something like that too.
Right, and they're excited to get into school, and they're excited to see their friends, so they may run out without looking. So you have to be cautious, and you have to be looking out for those types of things. And it could be as simple as an animal that's running out in the street,
Sure.
But you have to be prepared for that, and the only way to do that is by paying attention to the road and avoiding all those distractions.
I was surprised at how slow our reflexes actually are, because it feels like you stop so much faster, but rain and fog just add to that.
Absolutely. Anytime that the road is wet, that's going to increase your stopping distance, especially if it's just after or the beginning of a rain. Of course, those roads can be a little
Sure.
bit more slick.
Right.
So just pay attention to those roads, don't engage in those phone calls, and of course, no texting and social media behind the wheel.
What is the biggest problem you guys face in safety zones?
The biggest things that we see is a lot of speeding, and you need to be on the lookout for those school zones. Some of them have the blinking lights,
Sure.
Some of them do not. So pay attention to your surroundings. And again, the only way to do that is by looking and avoiding all those distractions behind the wheel.
All right, and once again, so you can't even have the hands-off phone call?
No, you cannot
so
even engage in a phone call while
Okay.
you're in a school zone. So, and that's for the kids' safety, and that's for your safety also. So, and really, it's difficult to engage in a phone call even when you're driving on the interstate, because the cognitive part of your brain is focused on that conversation versus on the road in front of you. So always avoid the distractions, no matter where you are, but especially in the school zones.
And remember, early in the morning and when kids are getting off school, to also be slower in neighborhoods as well.
Yes, because even in neighborhoods, there's going to be a lot of movement and a lot of kids waiting for buses. So pay attention to where they are. Always know where you're going, and also make sure that you're buckled up and that you're avoiding not just the cell phones, but avoiding the eating in the car. And if you have kids in the car, they can be a distraction also. But make sure that you're paying attention to that roadway so everybody around you is safe.
All right, thanks for keeping us safe. Thank you so much for your time, Melissa.
Thank you.